Hey guys, Nick here. Welcome to the Omniverse of Nick's next Dragon Ball story, the third part, and the final video before the Omni Games begins. This is What If Pikkon Was Wished Back. Before we get started with the third part, be sure to smash the like button and subscribe to the Omniverse of Nick. And check out the About Tab and homepage so you don't miss anything for the Omniverse's future. With all that said, let's begin. We get into Dragon Ball Daima. Now, obviously, the main lead who gets turned back into a kid is Gohan. I've done this before. And then we see Pikkon. Just like we saw with Tao, we see Pikkon transformed into a kid. Thank God for AI. I know 90% of you who look at this AI is going to be like, oh, AI step. Or, maybe you actually find Tao and Pikkon as kids kind of cool. But anyways, we get to the first Tamagami that they fight, and Gohan transforms into a Super Saiyan 2 and wrecks him. And then we're not going to get Majin Du and Ku because, unlike some other stories, Majin Buu's essence was never left anywhere. His ball was never, stored. It was literally taken to Beerus, as the vast majority of stories that don't involve Buu should do, as I've done. Also, then we get to the next Tamagami. And the fusion bugs we're actually going to be getting the fusion bugs for the first time in a what if, at least in general, and for me. And we get Pikkon or Pikkon. So, or, whatever you guys want to call the fusion between Pikkon and Piccolo. Piccolo or Pikkon, it really doesn't matter. I'm going to go with Piccolo, more or less. You guys can talk about it in the comments because we've never really seen it except in, fan made stuff and video games. So I'm going to go with Piccolo. Anyways, we get a combination, which this took me forever to try to put together, but we get a combination of the Thunder Flash and the Special Beam Cannon. So I'm going to call it the Thunder Flash Cannon. Pretty decent name overall. And the next Tamagami is defeated. Then we get Vegeta wrecking Tamagami 3's crap in Super Saiyan 3. Goma then gets the third eye, and with it proves just how freaking overpowered the third eye is and how he is. Gohan transforms for the first time Super Saiyan 3 himself, which would have been the perfect thing to do if you put Gohan in Daima, and Goma still wrecks everybody's crap. Then Neva empowers Gohan with Super Saiyan 4. The Eternal Dragon from the Demon Realm is then summoned and shows just how freaking overpowered and just how every Shenron should have reacted whenever they were getting attacked, and blocks Goma's attempts of trying to stop him. And then you might think I'm going to go the whole Gohan Beast or Super Saiyan 4 route like I did in the Zombie Goku story. But I didn't do so in the Tao story because I just don't want to make the same thing for Gohan. Only reason I did in the Zombie Goku ones because it directly pretty much made Gohan a central character. But this is not Gohan's story. This is Pikkon's story. So, Pikkon and Piccolo once again use the fusion bugs, and we get Orange Piccolo. So, yeah. So, with Piccolo having his potential unlocked, we obviously know Orange Piccolo is a thing. With Pikkon, yeah, Orange Piccolo. So, yeah, this is a very overpowered fusion. And with Mystic Gohan, Goma's done for. And then they're also told about the third eye in the back thing. And with Orange Piccolo and Mystic Gohan, it's a freaking cakewalk. And Goma's reverted to normal. But just like Tao's story, there's a catch. Piccolo was part of the reason, or, I'm not going to say part of the reason. Let's just think about it. Because the one who initiates getting the third eye out becomes basically becomes the new Supreme Demon King. And if Piccolo had done this in canon, that would have meant that he was the Supreme Demon King. And since he's the dominant one pretty much in the fusion, having the most power, and just overall been in the world a lot longer, and it's just like everything points to Piccolo. I could make it about Pikkon, but no. First of all, Pikkon does not belong as a Supreme Demon King at all. And you could make the argument that Dispo didn't in my freaking Tao story, but it just was a way different set of circumstances. You know? Yamcha didn't belong, and look where that got him. It's just down to how it happens. And Piccolo understands that this was kind of setting him up for, like, being back as what he honestly never thought he'd be back at. Being a demon, again, pretty much. But he will embrace it, as he knows he is not evil like his father was, and disillusioned like his past self was. So, he will be the Supreme Demon King Piccolo, with a far different path than every other Demon King, and a far stronger and more determined one. So we get Supreme Demon King Piccolo, with the only change being the third eye. So, definitely a new outlook on the whole Supreme Demon King thing, because he's the main first one who doesn't, like Ku, he don't look any different, except, Ku didn't take the third eye. So, yeah, Piccolo has the third eye as the Supreme Demon King, and Pikkon wishes him luck, because he's not staying around in the demon world. No, thank you. He has spent enough time in Otherworld for years and years and years and years and years and years and years, fighting people off in hell and everything like that. That's another reason why Pikkon is not going to be Supreme Demon King. For years on constant loops and loops and loops and loops and loops, especially depending on how long Pikkon's been dead, ain't no way he's gonna stay in a place with demons and freaking no. God, no. No, thank you. So Pikkon is not staying in the demon realm, and he's not being a Supreme Demon King. So now we get into Dragon Ball Super, or Battle of Gods, or Dragon Ball Super Beerus. It really doesn't matter. We're getting into the frickin' Beerus arc, where Beerus awakens with the prophecy about a Super Saiyan God, goes to King Kai's because Goku's there, beats him as Super Saiyan 3 with 2 blows, and then he fights Vegeta on Earth, and Vegeta actually pulls out, with no Goku around, Super Saiyan 3. But we all know how well that goes. Mystic Gohan is effortlessly tossed aside. And I could say anything about, like, Pikkon fighting Beerus or something like that, but there's nothing that would directly connect him to Beerus. So ironically, he would just be a background character, like, if Beerus lost his crap. But there's no way Beerus would lose his crap because no pudding incident. So it would literally just be a Saiyan test, like I've done in multitudes of other stories. Shenron's summoned about the Super Saiyan God. Goku is wished back because they need enough Saiyans. And Goku asked, just like Pikkon, for Olibu to get wished back to life. Because I've had Olibu come back in the tournament, but I said at the beginning of the tale, Pikkon ain't the only otherworld warrior coming back. Olibu, Goku asked specifically when Whis informed him of everything that happened, if Olibu could be the next otherworld warrior, explaining what he did for Pikkon. And Whis, intrigued by this, grants the request. And Pikkon and Goku face for the first time in years. And Pikkon looks to see who he is staring at next to Goku, and he cannot believe who he is looking at. Olibu's back in the world of the living. But Beer is getting impatient by all this random freaking otherworld drama. He's starting to get annoyed and threatens to destroy the Earth. If he is not satisfied and get the god that he wants, screw wishing people back over and over again. He'll make sure there's nothing ever to wish back. And yeah, this gets everyone in movement like that. So, with all the Saiyans put in, Goku becomes the Super Saiyan God, and we all know how the fight goes from there. And Goku, with Olibu now here, knows that whatever threat they got coming their way, especially hearing about Piccolo in the demon world and like everything that they've heard of, Olibu has a lot to catch up on. Goku has a decent lot to catch up on. And especially with Pikkon, they're ready to get through whatever threat comes their way next as Resurrection F nears its corner. How will that go? How will Olibu's new travels go? Piccolo is the Supreme Demon King, and just everything that has now entered us into Resurrection F and Dragon Ball Super, or however you want to like canonize like Resurrection F and like Super, because the remake especially, it's just gonna get confusing. And with all that said, hope you guys have enjoyed, because we're not done with the Pikkon story, but the Omni games will be premiering. So by the time that this gets out, the day after is when the Omni games premieres. So you won't be seeing the story or anything story-wise come back until the middle of March. That's when we get back on the regular schedule. So I hope you've enjoyed everything that this channel has had to offer, but we're going on a new route for the next few weeks. The ultimate apex of what the Omniverse is going to build for its future. And the Omni games is the greatest example of that. I won't say much more because you guys will just have to wait and see for yourselves the year and a half, well, half a year, but you still get what I mean, amount of work that has been put into this project and what it means for this channel's future. With all that said, catch up and like get yourselves in motion for whatever projects and like Omniverse story and just everything for this channel. Because if you haven't, this is the absolute final time that you guys will have the chance to like get in motion for that. It's more important than ever. And I will see you guys tomorrow when the Omni games and Scream 7 premiere. Stay tuned for Pikkon's story returning the middle of March, and stay even more tuned for the Omni games as it expands so much so more than anything for the Omniverse of Nick.